Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the webinar on the IHI Call 9 on boosting innovation for competitive European health ecosystem. My name is Nasima, and I'm going to be your moderator today. And before we start, I just want to share some information with you. If we move to the next slide. So, firstly, we are recording this session, and it will be published on the IHI website, and we will also publish the presentation slide just after this webinar. The call will be officially launched shortly, and all the links and details of how to apply will be published on the IHI website and the funding and tenders portal. The final approved Call 9 text is already available on the IHI website, and you can also find the link here on the presentation slide. Another important point, if you have any question, you are welcome to send them anytime via the Q&A function on the bottom right of your screen. Just send them into us and we will get them at the end of this presentation. I will also add that we have 3 people online today. So we have Nathalie Seigneuret, who is Senior Scientific Project Manager, and she's going to kick off with the presentation. We also have Elisabetta Vodano, Principal Scientific Manager, and we have Desmond, who is our Legal Officer. So now I will hand over to Nathalie. Sorry, Nathalie, we cannot hear you. Can you unmute yourself? Thank you.
Yes, sorry. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to this webinar. Before we enter into the depth of the call text, it's important to remember that we will present today this call 9 topic 1 to 5, and having a little bit of elements to remind yourself about the proposal submission and evaluation and tips for writing a successful proposal. However, we are not going to cover the rules and procedures. Tomorrow, there is a specific webinar on the rules of procedure for Call 9. The same, we are not going to cover the financial proposal. There were already a webinar dedicated to Call 9, how to prepare your financial aspect of the proposal. And all these webinars, recording and presentation slides are already or will be available on our website under the webinars, and you have the links here. So it's important to remember that today we focus on the actual content of this Call 9. Oops, doesn't seem to move to the next slide. Okay, so before we go into really the specificities of this applicant-driven call, it's important to remember the IHI, the Innovative Health Initiative, how we operate, being an EU partnership between the European Union, represented by the European Commission, and the Healthcare Industry Association, representing by the association COSIRS, medical imaging, radiotherapy, ICT, EFPA and Vaccines Europe, representing the pharmaceutical and vaccine industry, Europa Bio, representing the biotech industry, MedTech Europe, representing the medical technology industry. It's important because it has to be remembered that we are operating under this public-private partnership, and we have some general objective defined in our legislation that we have to achieve. And these are to turn the health research and innovation into real benefits for patients and society, to deliver safe, effective health innovations that cover the entire spectrum of care, from prevention to diagnosis and treatment, particularly in areas where there is an unmet public health need, and makes Europe's health industry globally competitive. These are elements to keep in mind because this will become very much important when putting together your ideas or your proposal for this Call 9. Another element to remember is that the IHI project are created via the open competitive call for proposals. So as we said, this call will be shortly launched, officially launched. And what is important is that you need to create a kind of a cross-sectorial public-private partnership consortium, leveraging the contribution from the industrial partners, coming from the private members of the IHI Industry Association that I mentioned just before, If relevant contributions from other contributing partners, that must be approved by your IHI governing board. Again, we won't discuss today the contributing partner, but if you want to know more information, so first of all, we have information on our website, but tomorrow in the rule of procedure, this will be addressed more in detail. And the public funding that's coming from the Horizon Europe. Now we operate under strategic research and innovation agendas, meaning that all our projects have to somehow address this strategic research and innovation agenda that are related as well to our general objective. And the focus is to have some cross-sectoral approaches to facilitate the creation of new products and services to prevent, diagnose, intercept, treat and manage disease, and foster recovery more efficiently. And the goal is to lay the foundation for the development of safer and more effective healthcare products or solutions that respond to unmet public health needs and that can be implemented into the healthcare system. Now, an important element is that while we are doing that, all the research supported by IHI should remain at the pre-competitive level. In these slides, you have the link where to find the strategic and research and innovation agenda. And you will hear in the next 30 minutes how important it is for you to read it carefully if you want to apply to this Call 9. Now, this Call 9 will follow the normal single-stage procedure, meaning that once the call is launched, we would like you to come as applicant consortium already together with the public and the private partners. So basically in your proposal, you will come with already academics, small and medium-sized enterprise, healthcare professional, patient organizations, regulators, state bodies, with private members and maybe contributing partners. So you are already the full consortium submitting your proposal. That will go through an evaluation, a competitive evaluation, and based on the evaluation and the ranking list, you may be invited to the grant preparation, and if everything goes well, the project will be launched. Again, that will be more discussed in more detail in the rule and procedure webinar. But let's move now under this Call 9, boosting innovation for a competitive European health ecosystem through a novel applicant-driven approach. This Call 9 is composed of 5 topics, and each of them focusing on one of the 5 IHI specific objectives. So I presented at the beginning the general objective, and under the legislation, we do have some specific objective, 5 of them. The call contains as well an introduction and general elements to be considered for all the topics. And this will be extremely important to read this introduction in order to really capture or to understand what's behind this call. The overall aim is to fund pre-competitive research and innovation actions that are in line with the general objective and address at least one of the specific objectives as set out in the strategic and research and innovation agenda. So in practice, what does it mean? It means that we have a topic 1 called Boosting Innovation for a Better Understanding of the Determinants of Health. This topic specifically focuses on addressing the specific objective 1, which is contribute towards a better understanding of the determinants of health and priority disease. The second topic of the Call 9 is called Boosting Innovation through Better Integration of Fragmented Health Research and Innovation Efforts. And this topic 2 is addressing specifically the specific objective 2, which is integrate fragmented health research and innovation efforts, bringing together health industry sectors and other stakeholders, focusing on unmet public health needs to enable the development of tools, data platforms, technologies, and processes for improved prediction, prevention, interception, diagnosis, treatment, and management of disease, meeting the needs of the end users. Topic 3. Boosting innovation for people-centered integrating healthcare solution. this topic 3 address the specific objective 3, which is in our strategic research on innovation agenda, as demonstrate the feasibility of people-centered integrated healthcare solution. Topic 4, boosting innovation through exploitation of digitalization and data exchange in healthcare. Again, addressing specifically the specific objective 4, exploit the full potential of digitalization and data exchange in healthcare. Finally, we have the topic 5, boosting innovation for better assessment of the added value of innovative integrated healthcare solution, and that's addressing specifically the specific objective 5, enable the development of new and improved evaluation methodologies and models for a comprehensive assessment of the added value of innovative and integrated healthcare solutions. Now, as I said, on the top of having this a description of each of these individual topics, we do have a general introduction with general elements to be considered for all topics. It's very important that you read it carefully because it really gives some important information again on the philosophy of this call. So in this introduction, first it's specified again that the scope is broad because it's to harness new science and technologies that will foster the development of health innovations to prevent, intercept, diagnose, treat, and manage disease and enable recovery more efficiently, and that could ultimately be integrated or implemented into the healthcare system for the benefit of patient and society. Now, the actions, so all the projects that will be funded under this call are expected to perform at scale activities to drive concrete and transformational outcomes. This is again very important to keep this in mind. It should address as well unmet public health needs. I will come back a little bit later on this, what is unmet public health needs. But it could be, for instance, if no health technologies are known to tackle a disease effectively, for instance. But I will come back to that. Other elements that are mentioned into this introduction that are, again, very important to keep in mind is that most of the activities that will be under this project are proposed to be cross-sectoral, reflecting the integrative nature of IHI as a public-private partnership, and to consider the different innovation cycles of the pharmaceutical and medical technology industries. We welcome proposals that aim at demonstrate the feasibility and or the scalability of integrating solution into national or regional healthcare system and or innovations. So this can be the scope of the proposal. But again, we need to remember that the research should remain at the pre-competitive level. So we are not here to deliver product that will be directly put on the market. In this introduction, again, we explain or there is the mention that activities may cover the whole health innovation chain and can include, but it's not limited to the below example that are listed into the topic. Discovery of mechanism of action, processes, technologies, molecules, development of testing of this discovery, the development of methodology for the assessment of safety or health outcomes or health economic evaluation, standardization activities, contribution to regulatory science, pilots, proof of feasibility, including in silico trials. Again, these are just examples of what could be activities covering the whole health innovation chain, but it's not limited to that. And you can come with other suggestions. The introduction emphasized that we need to ensure the people-driven mission and the inclusive objective of the call. So applicants are strongly encouraged to provide open access to project-generated outputs such as standards, GDPR-compliant dataset, and other research results. Element that is very important is that under this call, as I said, you have 5 topics. So you need to submit your proposal under one of the topic. So you need to consider the specific objective. This is the most relevant to the primary focus of your proposal and submit it under that topic. We expect that you explain in your proposal or you justify the alignment of the objective of your proposed work with the specific objective selected. Now, we recognize that there is a complementarity between the different IHI specific objectives. So that means that your proposal, on the top of addressing having a prime focus linked to a specific objective, may as well cover over objective or over specific objective. If so, you are welcome to highlight this in your proposal. But again, you can submit only your proposal under one of the specific object or one of the topics, sorry. Now let's dig a little bit more into the detail of each of the topic. For topic 1 to 5, we have a similar structure in terms of the topic text. And for the scope, we have the first element that with the view of to harnessing the new science and technology, that the scope or the goal is to fund pre-competitive research and innovation for novel tools, methods, technologies that will foster the development of health innovation to prevent, intercept, diagnose, treat, manage disease, and enable recovery more efficiently. So that's the first objective that proposal should fulfill. And accordingly, applicants must assemble a collaborative public-private partnership consortium reflecting the integrative and cross-sectoral nature of IHI-GU that is capable of addressing the challenges and the scope of the selected specific objective and described in more detail in this in our strategic and research and innovation agenda. So what does it mean in practice is that for the topic 1, this is just an example. So the second paragraph will mention the specific objective 1, i.e., so that is to contribute towards a better understanding of the determinants of health and priority disease areas. So that means that if you want to know a little bit more, we really advise that you refer to the strategic research and innovation agenda, and you will see that under the specific objective in this document, we first have a section putting in context the challenge and then the scope. So this is really how you should look at the this objective under each of the topic. And of course, here is for topic 1, but topic 2 will have reference to the specific objective 2. And again, you are welcome to go, or more than welcome, encouraged to go back to the strategic and research innovation agenda in order to read the challenge and the scope of this specific objective 2. Similarly for 3, 4, and 5. Now, under the scope, there are some other elements that the applicant should consider in their proposal. And the point now I will mention are for topic 1, 4, and 5. So first is to address an unmet public health need based on at least one of the below: a high burden of disease for patient and or society, high economic impact of the disease for patient and society, and the transformational nature of the potential result and innovation processes. That's how it has been defined and met public health need. You should consider as well to demonstrate the ability to translate the research into innovation solutions that can be integrated and implemented into the healthcare ecosystem and or in the industrial processes. That's the other elements that in the proposal we expect to see that. Importantly as well, when applicable, relevant aspect of patient centricity should be considered with the help of the most suitable health technologies and or social innovation, including open science, and taking demographic trends into account. So these are elements that on the top of the objective mentioned before have to be really considered under the scope for each of the topics. Now for topic 2, it's the same with the additional point about the proposal may address specific target population and deserve community or areas with limited resources and or support challenging unmet needs and diagnostics or treatment group. So that's another element that should be thought of when putting the proposal. For topic 3, as you may remember, this is the topic which is very much linked to the patient centricity. So of course, there is another element to be taken into account and that the applicant should consider in their proposal. On the top of the unmet public health need and demonstrate the ability to translate research into innovation solutions, there is the other element to have people-centric rather than product or pathology-centric approaches. And the focus, of course, is being on the patient and citizen journey through the healthcare, with the help of the most suitable health technologies or social innovation and taking into account demographic trends. So here it's not just when applicable, it's that we expect that proposals submitted on this topic will address or will have this element considered. Under the scope for the topics 1 to 5, there are some additional elements to be considered by applicant. Importantly, if applicable, the regulatory impact of the anticipated project outputs, and as relevant, to develop a regulatory strategy and interaction plan for generating the appropriate evidence and for engaging with regulators timely and other bodies. As relevant as well, there might be a need to consider the health data access bodies that will be established under the European Health Data Space Regulation in the context of secondary use of data. So again, it's only if relevant to the proposed work that you are thinking of in your proposal. And finally, you need to consider relevant existing initiative and project to ensure synergies and complementarities, and of course, avoid unnecessarily overlap and duplication of efforts. And the proposal should, of course, include a plan on how to synergize with these initiatives, if relevant. Now, just as a note, if you have already looked at the topics, you might have noted that at the end, there are examples of activities that could fall under the topic. Now, these are only indicative. And definitely there are suggestions, but not at all prescriptive or limiting. And what is important again to remember is that you should refer to the text under the strategic research and innovation agenda under each of the specific objectives for the full details of the scope. Let's move now to the expected outcomes of each of the topics. So the outcome will be defined in the same way, in the sense that for all the topics, that outcome have to be defined by you, actually. When you put your proposal in place based on your scope and your proposed work, you need to define your outcomes and ensuring that they contribute to at least one of the IHI-GU potential outputs linked to the relevant specific objective. So if it is specific objective 1, it should be linked to the potential outputs that are described in the SRA under the specific objective 1. The second point is to address the public health needs and support the development of future health innovation that are safe, people-centered, effective, cost-effective, and affordable for patients and for healthcare system. In terms of outcomes, they may cover as well the entire spectrum of care and be health technology centers around disease area or key themes such as prevention, personalized medicine, chronic disease management. They may also include solutions for key enablers, for instance, on digital data and solution, artificial intelligence, regulatory science, greener and more sustainable healthcare, and implementation science. So to explain a little bit more again how to address that. So if we look at topic 1, for instance, so in terms of outcomes, we will have applicant must define the outcome expected to be achieved by the project, ensuring that they contribute to at least one of the IHI GU potential output linked to the specific objective 1, contribute towards a better understanding of the determinants of health and priority disease. So then if you go to the strategic research and innovation agenda, and you see on my right side that you see potential inputs, and there are a number of potential outputs that are listed. So again, this means that this is where we expect you to contribute to this, that your outcome will be defined that will contribute at least to one of these potential outputs, and the rest remain as what I read just before. Expected impact. It's for each of the topic, it will be again structured in the similar way. So the text will mention that you need to contribute to one or more IHIGU's expected impact linked to the specific objectives selected as set out in the strategic and research innovation agenda. And on the top, to contribute to the strengthening the competitiveness of this, the EU health industry, and that is directly linked to a general objective, and contribute to relevant EU program, initiative, and policies. So similarly, if we take the example of topic 1, so we have under the topic 1, for instance, in the text, when we said that to contribute to one or more IHIGU expected impact linked to the specific objective 1, and here we have, for instance, a patient benefit from preventive treatment or early disease intervention before onset of the symptoms, prevention, early diagnosis of disease combined with the better. So these bullets that are in the described for each of the topic are actually what you can find under the strategic research and innovation agenda. And if you go to the right, under the expected impact. So again, you need to contribute your proposal if you submit, for instance, under the topic 1, need to contribute to at least one or more expected impact that are defined here. And then when we look more into the text, we under the actions are expected to contribute to initiative policies such as the European Green Deal, the Europe Spitting Cancer Plan, the EU Mention on Cancer, the Virtual Human Twins Initiative. So all the different initiatives that are relevant at this moment for the EU. Now, going to a different matter, as you know, the dissemination, exploitation, and communication, having a plan for single stage in the full proposal, it's an eligibility and admissibility criteria. So for all these activities, it's very important that you reserve budget for effective dissemination, exploitation, and communication. And you need to describe all that, the measures that are planned, the target groups address, and in particular, encourage the uptake of the result of the project through a strong communication outreach plan, allocating, and again, remember that for all this topic, the provision, what we call the freer provision, that will be explained more on the rule on procedure webinar, availability, accessibility, and affordability do apply to these topics. Just a word on the budget. Again, there was a specific webinar on financial aspect, but here just to remember that the budget, we have an envelope, a total envelope for this call of 191 million as a public funding. And of course, we expect to have the matching coming from the private funding. But being 5 different topics, we do have a budget allocated for each of the topic. So the topic 1 has an envelope of 25 million, sorry. The topic 2, 100 million. Topic 3, 30 million. Topic 4, 24 million. And topic 5, 12 million. And on the purple or pinkish colored, you have what we expect as in-kind on cash contribution if we go for the 50%. 50% is the target for the call 9, as 50% matching must be reached of the overall program level. The rules are 45%, but we really encourage and that the 50% should be a target. So now if we look at per proposal, you will see that on the top of defining a total envelope for each of the topic, the text will define what we expect would be a reasonable budget in terms of EU contribution in order to be able to achieve the objective of the topic. And for the topic 1, we expect that a project around 8 million could certainly answer the fulfill and meet the objective of the topic. For the topic 2, 15 million. For the topic 3, 4, 8 million, and 5 million for the topic 5. So again, these are just estimated. The proposal can be more, can be less, but this is what we consider that could be in this kind of balance that we could have a proposal that fulfill the objective. But again, this is just indicative. What is important, and if I come back to the previous slide, what is important is what available for each of the envelope. Now let's move to the proposal submission and evaluation in order to remind you about important element. Again, it's just a snapshot because there will be more under the rules of procedure. But the proposal templates need to be filled in, and the proposal template has 2 parts. Part A, which is the administrative data that is entered into the web forms through the funding and tenders portal. And the part B is the narrative part, which contains 3 sections: excellence, impact, quality and efficiency, and the implementation. Now, we really advise you to read carefully the instruction for the proposal template very carefully. Why? Because this instruction have elements that are really relevant for IHI or specific to IHI to address the public-private partnership. So it's very important not just to think that, oh, it's the same template as Horizon Europe. No, it's the same structure, but the instruction underneath are contain elements that are different to reflect our public-private partnership and the objective of IHI. Under annexes, we have the participant time, the budget details, and when relevant, the clinical studies template that needs to be filled in if you are proposing clinical studies. The evaluation criteria. The evaluation criteria, again, it's important to keep this in mind because it's for you to understand how the experts, the panel of experts will evaluate each of the proposals submitted and the criteria they will use in order to evaluate that. So the evaluation criteria is composed of 3 criterion, so linked to the structure of the proposal: excellence, impact, quality, and efficiency of the implementation. Under excellence, there are 2 sub-criterion that experts will look at. to the clarity and the pertinence of the project objective and the extent to which the proposed work is ambitious and goes beyond the state of the art, and the soundness of the proposed methodology, including the underlying concept, models, assumption, interdisciplinary approaches, appropriate consideration of the gender dimension in research and innovation content, and the quality of open science practices, including sharing and management of research output and engagement of citizens, civil society, and end user where appropriate. This is a long sub-criterion, but these are all the elements that are important to be highlighted into the proposal. Under the impact, we have the credibility of the pathway to achieve the expected outcome and impact as specified in work program and the likely scale and significance of the contribution to the project, and the suitability and the quality of the measure to maximize the expected outcomes and impact as set in the dissemination and exploitation plan, including communication activities. So that's why I was referring before. It's really an important aspect to be considered into your proposal. But what really is important and diverge a little bit or include specificities of IHI is under the criterion quality and efficiency and implementation. So first of all, we ask experts to look at the quality and the effectiveness of the work plan, assessment of risk, and including the risk of falling the 45% contribution threshold. So as I said, we have the threshold of 45%, but we strongly encourage and we are really targeted at 50% contribution coming from the private members, appropriateness of the effort assigned to the work package and the resources overall. Another element that experts will look at is the capacity and the role of each participants and the extent to which the consortium as a whole establishes public-private collaboration and brings together the necessary expertise. And if relevant, if in your proposal you have contributing partner, we will ask experts to have a look at their capacity and the role that they bring to the consortium. Finally, the last sub-criterion is the clearly defined and effective integration of in-kind and financial contribution of the IHI-GU private members, their constituent or affiliated entities, to enable a successful public-private partnership. And again, in case you have contributing partner into your proposal, we will look as well, or the expert will look at the clearly defined and effective integration of the in-kind and financial contribution of the contributing partners. So this is important, and we flag it because actually these evaluation criteria have been modified as of this call 9 for the sub-criterion. Now, tips for applicants. We can never say enough, please read all the relevant material, not only the call text, the introduction to general elements, but as well all the other documents. And we have on the, for the moment, the call texts are still under the future opportunities, but under the call, we do have a page called documents where you can find all the relevant documents, proposal templates, the evaluation form. We do have as well frequently asked question document that was already produced some time ago on call 9 that will may be updated depending on the question we received today, but a lot of questions are already answered in this document. Of course, this goes without saying that you need to read carefully the strategic research and innovation agenda, and especially for the specific objective that you are looking for or that you are thinking where your proposal can fit. You need to form your consortium and again, think always public-private partnership and include partners bringing in-kind contribution, because this is definitely essential in the context of the IHI project. You need to ensure that all the information requested in the call text in the proposal template is provided into your proposal to allow the evaluation by the expert to easily assess your proposal against the evaluation criteria. Again, remember, when experts are looking at proposal, they have only your proposal that they can they have in front of them, and they need to assess against the criteria, and they need to assess against the call topic, which is the reference or the Bible. Consider and plan the potential regulatory impact of your results. And again, we have a document into a call documents page that explain or give you some guidance on how to think early on these elements to build your strategy and your thought for interaction. So they said there have been some updates in the proposal template, part B, and the evaluation form for this call. So please make sure that you refer to this version. So don't use an old version for preparing your proposal. And the code deadline is the 29th of April 2025. Finding project partners, we know that it's always a question that we get, because of course you need to build or join the consortium if you are interested in this call. So first of all, there are the network via the brokerage platform, and Nassima will explain a little bit more in the next couple of slides about this platform. There is as well the partner search tool under the EU funding and tenders portal. You can get in touch with the IHI national contact point, and you can network on social media, and of course use your own network in order to build or to join your consortium. But now we are going to move a little bit more to explain the brokerage platform, and Nassima, I leave the floor to you.
Thank you, Nathalie, for the presentation. So yes, I would like to quickly show you some slides on the IHI brokerage platform. So it's a platform that we have created, and it's dedicated to Call9. So this platform is have different purpose. So first, you can share your proposal IDs if you have any linked to one topic or several topics that Ali just presented. You can also network via the platform, so it's easy to identify potential partners. I will show you the numbers in the next slides, a lot of participants in the platform. You can also message them directly via the platform and then schedule meetings outside of the platform. We tried to make a user-friendly interface, so which is simple and easy to use. So regarding the numbers, if we move to the next slide, we are now, can we move? Yeah. Thank you, Nathalie. So we are now above 1,000 persons profile in the platform. We have also 1,290 companies profile, and we also have 190 proposals. So those numbers will keep increasing till the call deadline, and even after, because the platform will be open till the call deadline. You can also find the list of pictures, because as many of you know, we had the brokerage event last November. So here you can find the list of pictures, all the presentation slides, and also the recording of the brokerage event that we had last November. And finally, on the last slide, it's a quick explanation on how to get started. So it's really easy to use. So you just go to the link in that slide. You create first your personal profile and then your company profile. You can share your proposal ID in the tool if you have any. It's not mandatory, but it's good if you have one to share it there. And you can start browsing and connecting with participants via messages. So, and if you have, again, any question regarding the platform, you can reach out to us via the platform. There is a help request function, and then we will be happy to help you. Before moving to the Q&A, I would like to promote the last webinars that we have this week for call 9 and 10. So as Nathalie said, we have the call 9 rules and procedure webinar tomorrow morning. So I would like to tell you that all the questions that we have for rules and procedure will be addressed tomorrow morning. So please register if it's not done already. We will have also the call 10 topic tomorrow afternoon, and we have the call 10 rules and procedure webinar on Thursday morning. And I would also like to promote one webinar that we will have on the 30th of January. It's a dedicated webinar for contributing partners. So if you are not already registered, I would recommend you to do so. So you just have to go on the IHI website and click on the events tab, and you'll find the event, and you click on the registering link. Thank you. So now I think that we can move on, to the Q&A. So I will invite Desmond, Natalie, and Elisabetta to be on. So we do have a few questions on the pre-competitive aspect. So the first one is, how do you define pre-competitive research? I will let you. I don't know who wants to take this one.
So pre-competitive research is it's actually defined in the text. There is a small footnote. I don't have it in front of me, just to be precise. But again, what we are saying is that we are here to develop, or we are here to support research on innovation in whatever will help to foster the development of health technologies. We are not here to arrive directly at market or commercialization per se.
Thank you, Nathalie. And the next one is still on the pre-competitive aspect. So someone is stating, I have read the official definition, but don't understand how this would affect a future project resulting from our project. I don't know who wants to take this.
Will affect the results?
So he's stating that he has read the official definition of pre-competitiveness, but don't understand how this would affect a future product resulting from his project.
Maybe I can start to read, and then maybe Desmond can also complement. Well, as Nathalie just explained, there is the applicability for all proposal, and therefore all projects will generate a recall, or the so-called 3A condition. Maybe Desmond, then you can explain a little bit more of this.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of the way I'm looking at the question, and I'm open to correction, is that the question is basically saying if it's non-competitive. I think he's asking, is that going to affect how a product which is resulting from the call is actually impacted? So, I mean, to reinforce Natalie's point, IHI projects by their very nature are collaborative and non-competitive. The idea is everybody brings together their resources and works towards a collective objective addressing the topic text. Now, if something comes out of the topic in terms of a product, then there are obligations there in the grant agreement, which everyone signs by default. Things like access rights, which have to be considered by people who are in the consortium. And in certain cases, we do have, as Elisabetta has referred to, additional conditions in relation to making something downstream, a product or a service which is developed in an IHI project, affordable, available, and accessible. But that very much is specific to given topics, and if it applies, it's in the actual topic text, depending upon the topic. So if a product is actually coming out, then, or a service is coming out, then that's fine. Pre-competitive doesn't mean these things can't come out of IHI projects. I think pre-competitive in the context of this call, though, is suggesting that the collaborative, non-competitive nature of the initiative, of the project, or the consortium at the start.
Thank you, Desmond. And another question on the pre-competitive topic. So can you give examples of what can versus cannot be included?
Well, I'm not so sure how much we can give example, because obviously, but if, for instance, if you were coming with just one product that you just want that we develop it to put it on the market, that would probably not be not fulfilling this pre-competitive research. If I was like having as I said, or let's put it simply, if I have a medicine that I'm just finalizing the development to put it on the market myself, that was not going to be a research, a pre-competitive research, and being in the scope of a collaborative research.
Thank you, Nathalie. And the last question on the pre-competitive topic, how can you demonstrate the ability to translate the research while remaining in the pre-competitive space?
I don't know if it is.
I can take this. So, I mean, there is a lot of challenges and a lot of space before getting to something that is really a competitive development of a product, which is not, as just said, really what we would like to see from and in scope of this call. But indeed, I would recommend again, please read carefully the Strategic Research and Innovation Agenda, because it really explains which are the challenges that, of course, then will have to be addressed specifically. There are many different challenges depending on which area, and this will correspond to a specific topic. And therefore, I mean, what we expect is really to try to address these challenges, and of course looking using our public-private partnership collaborative approach, and demonstrating really how your approach really bring together all the necessary stakeholders to work together in order to really provide a progress, and therefore in this case, in this way, boost the progress of the innovation in comparison of what would be if the different stakeholder would be instead included in the classical sequential way and working in silos. So really use the collaborative approach to really move things forward from the status quo. And of course, you will have to demonstrate that you have, of course, a good grasp to what is the landscape, what is happening in the field, and where you really your proposal could make a difference.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
Maybe I can just add, sorry,
yeah, sure.
Nassima. Maybe I can add the fact that if you read again the topic text in carefully, and I'll try to explain that, but I know it's many slides maybe to absorb. But there is the possibility of having a demonstrator piloting that can really show this translation, how we can translate some of these result and innovation coming out from the project into the implementation phase. And this is really where the topics are describing and making welcome all this aspect of the demonstration, the piloting for the implementation.
Yeah.
Thank you, Nathalie. And now we have a question regarding the patient pool. So the person is asking, what are your thoughts on making inclusion in proposals that are patient-facing mandatory, given the concept of nothing about us without us?
So first of all is that for sure we expect to see patient representative part of the consortium. because this is definitely recognized widely that having the patients and into the research can really help to ensure that it meets the needs. However, the patient pool are individuals, and of course, consortium needs to be linked to entities. So there is no exclusion that patient pool participants who are linked to an association or organization can be part of it, of course. But it's just that in a consortium, we need to have entities, not just individuals. But again, there are many aspects that can be considered as well, is that you may have as consideration on having patient organizations part of the consortium. There may be other way as well of further engaging through the governance or process like in an advisory mode or not. I mean, we had various from all the project various experience on how patients have been engaged into the project. But for sure, it's an element important, but we cannot dictate that representative of our patient pool are part of the consortium.
Thank you, Nathalie. And I can see that we still have one question on the pre-competitive aspect. The question is, are TRL 6 to 8 considered pre-competitive?
So this is something that was already addressed in our Q&A in a sense that we are not dictated the TRL, but again we are on the research on innovation action. We are not on innovation action or mechanism. So this is something to remember. So we still need to be at this very competitive level, and therefore we cannot deliver products directly into the healthcare or onto the market. But there is no requirement of where the TRL should be or should not be, no specific requirement.
Thank you, Nathalie. The next question is, could you give some specific examples for what is expected in topic 2? The terminology is a bit vague.
So maybe again, I would really invite you to read more specifically or topics and strategic research and agenda, where you will see a little bit more about the expectation from the topic 2.
Thank you. And the next one is, what do you mean by boosting? Does it require certain pre-existing results, for example?
Maybe I can take this one. Well, it's clear that the applicant will have to demonstrate that they know their field, they know they have done a proper landscaping, therefore they will also to demonstrate that the proposal is robust, and that is therefore based on solid basis as its methodology. And clearly, of course, if there are some results, this could be used also to demonstrate the fact that it is robust and feasible. And of course, also that expected there is a certain ambition that also will have to be considered, and which of course demonstrated in this way, they will boost the whatever field, whatever innovation level that there is in a specific area with their proposal.
Thank you, Elisabetta. And the next question is, what is meant with cross-sectoral? What sectors do you refer to?
Well, so first of all, we want to make sure that we can, first of all, that we have all the disciplinary sector represented as relevant into the consortium to address the objective. I think this is we need to ensure that you have I think it's important to remember that it doesn't mean that you need to have necessarily all the different industry sectors part of the consortium, depending on the objective that you are pursuing. But we need to ensure that there is consideration of all this sectoriality that might be necessary coming from the different actors to address the objective. Maybe, Elisabetta, you want to complement?
Yes, I think you need to consider the approach. So the approach is that that need to be cross-sectorial, need to consider the different elements that are important in when you want to proceed with innovation in healthcare system. That is become an ecosystem where you have indeed to consider how one aspect of innovation will also influence the other sector, the other type of industry. Which that is really the approach that need to be cross-sectorial. And then, of course, you will need to have all the different expertise that can come both from members that are members of the association and members of the consortium. That can be, for example, some SMEs or whatever. But you need to really demonstrate that you have considered the importance in the for the development of innovation in healthcare system, then that they need to be a cross-sectorial approach.
Thank you, Elisabetta. Unfortunately, we are running out of time and we need to close this webinar. I'm really sorry. I can see that we still have some questions. I would recommend you to send them via the applicant mailbox and the IHI office will reply to them. So I will close this webinar. I will thank Nathalie.
Maybe Nassima, sorry.
Yep.
If we didn't have time to answer all the questions and if we replied through the applicant mailbox, maybe we will update as well or FAQ, so that everybody will have a chance to read the answer under the FAQ for those questions that are of interest and of importance for everybody.
Indeed, yeah, good point. Yeah, and you can find the FAQ on the IHI website as well. So I would like to thank Nathalie, Elisabetta, and Desmond for the presentation, answering the question. Thank you to all of you for your interest, and I wish you good luck with your proposal. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Thank you and good luck.